Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to Mandatory Mountain Biking. Today we're going to find out, is it better to buy a cheap Walmart mountain bike and fix it up as time goes on, or to save a little more money and buy a better one right out the gate? Let's find out. So is it better to buy the Walmart bike and fix up over time, or is it better to buy the better one starting out? So what I've done is I bought a Schwinn 27.5 aluminum comp, which is a pretty popular one at Walmart. When I bought it, it was about 3 years ago, about $185 brand new. I've taken it on trails for about the first year, and I thought it was fantastic. The reason I thought it was fantastic is because I didn't know what a good mountain bike felt like. I'm not saying that this is a bad bike, especially around town, just getting around places. It's a really good bike, but as far as mountain biking, it seems fine until you try something better and realize what good is. So once I found that out, I wanted to upgrade a little bit. And I've upgraded the handlebars, the grips, the crank arms, the freewheel in the back, the pedals. Most of the bike has been updated, and it rides so much better. And I got really good deals on all of the parts. We're gonna go over that, but the question is it better than just say buying like a Trek Marlin for $500, $600, $700 right when you start and riding and not needing to fix anything up? So let's take a look at my bike. We'll look it over, take it out on the trail, see how it looks. We'll talk about the pros and cons of doing it my way and doing it how probably 90% of normal people buy a mountain bike. Let's take a look. All right, taking a look, this is the bike as a whole. In the back I have the Shimano Mega Range 11 to 36 tooth, and then running that is the Shimano Altus rear derailleur. And up here, these are just some basic, they're called base camp pedals. They don't have any threaded pegs, but they're very durable. I've hit them plenty of times. They've held up really well. Connected to some XC crank arms. Set up as a 2x7 right now. They can do 3 or 1 as well. And then running back, I upgraded the seat post to an M-Wave and a sport saddle seat. M-Wave, that way it has the better clamp. It came with the 2 crummy bolts on the sides, so I wanted to upgrade that, more stable. Upgraded the top cap, just something so it look aesthetically better. Wake, stem, and handlebars. The stem is 45 millimeters and the handlebars are 740. Again, these are one of the original components, the actual brake levers and shifters. Coming up front here, we have 120 millimeter air shock. I believe it's pronounced Bolini air forks. Got off Amazon and have worked really well. Seem really sturdy as well. And then there's the lockout for it, the remote lockout. And I also upgraded the tires to Kenda tires that came with 2.2 unbranded, and now it's the Kenda 2.35s. The wheels are actually one of the only original things on this bike as well. They've actually held up pretty well. And now let's go see how it rides. What you think? All right, so let's talk about the pros and the cons. Pros are, you can get a bike for $185 to $250, depending on when you got your, in this case, Schwinn Aluminum Comp. You get to start riding immediately for a very small amount of money, And as time goes on, you can afford to put on $10 grips, you can afford to buy the $20 pedals, you can afford to buy the $150 air fork, you can get the nicer crank arms, you can get the freewheel in the back with more cogs that allow you to climb better, because these bikes aren't exactly light. So it's nicer when you have a few more gears in the back to get you up the mountain. Some of the cons are, you need to upgrade those things if you want to ride how you're wanting to ride. You watch the videos of people mountain biking and you want to ride like they do, but you can't on that setup. You can ride some single track. I've ridden some of the local trails on that standard factory setup, and you can get by all right. I even rode slick rock with almost everything stock on that bike. The only thing I changed was the freewheel on back so I could climb a little better, and then the handlebars. I got the $740 Wake handlebars. Besides that, I rode a stock Schwinn 27.5 Walmart bike the whole way through the slick rock trail, and I got a couple of compliments too. At that point, with those upgrades, I was only into the bike probably about $220 anyway. So you can ride trails like slick rock if you want to. Not the easiest, I'm not saying I recommend it, but you can ride it on a bike for about $220. Another pro that I think is really awesome and I've really appreciated is, as I've been doing this, I've learned how to fix my bottom bracket. I took it out, cleaned it, put a new one in. I learned about all the different sizing, how they work. I learned how to change crank sets. I got the specific parts for it. Now I have that forever. I put on the rear derailleur. I learned how to change out the pedals. I learned how to change out the cockpit, put on a new stem, put the stem on the new air fork, changing out the fork in general, putting on the new handlebars on the stem, the different sizes of the stem that match up with the handlebars. I pretty much know everything about this bike inside and out, and that's pretty awesome. It's nice to know your bike and be comfortable with it and know how it works and what you need to do to fix it if something breaks. Knowledge is power. If I could go back, would I redo how I did it? Would I buy the Walmart bike and then would I upgrade it as time went on? Or would I go back and get, say, the Trek Marlin or another beginner hardtail that has good components for not too much money? I would go back and do it the way I did it. I like knowing how to fix my bike. I like knowing how to fix my friends' bikes. And I like that it let me get started at a time I didn't have $600 to drop on a bike. I had barely $185. If I had that, I still got it anyway. All right, upgrades. I got the Wake handlebars, 744 millimeters for $29.95. I got the Wake stem to go with it, $9.97. The Shimano Altus rear derailleur was $19.95. I got the freewheel in the back, and that was the Shimano Mega Range for $14.95. I got the Corky grips for $4.99. The sports saddle for $16.95. I got the Chewy brake pads for $8.99. I got the top cap for $2.95 just because it looked good on my bike. I upgraded the tires to Kendas, and I got those on eBay on the little thing you can click that says best offer. So I made an offer for $20 a tire. He went for it. So for a set, I got them for $40, and they're great. I got the aluminum base camp pedals for $19.95. Those can take a punch. I got the Shimano BB55 bottom bracket for about $22.95 because my old one was incinerated. Walmart puts the cheapest bottom bracket in theirs. I don't know what it is, but it's bad. And then I got the XC Ganiper crank set, and you can do 3x, 2x, or 1x on it, and those have held up really well for the last season. And those cost me $44.98. I also got my Bolony ZTZ 120 millimeter air fork for $130. So altogether, I paid about $370 in upgrades, with the bike costing $185. So my bike cost me right around $550, which is about what we would pay for the lowest end Trek Marlin. The Trek Marlin has coil forks that are a little bit heavier. It has better components out the gate, but my freewheel in the back is better for climbing. It has more teeth in it. I have more travel up front. It's an air fork, so it's lighter. I got to custom pick all of my colors on my handlebars, my stem, my grips, my pedals, my cranks, as you see, my saddle. Everything's very colorful. This is exactly the way I wanted it. Those are the colors I picked. Those are the products I picked to put on there. So not to mention, it costs about the same as the lowest end. It performs better, and it's exactly what I wanted it to look like. So me, I wouldn't have changed what had happened. Is it the better way? That's up to you to decide. Either way, This is mandatory mountain biking, so get a bike and get riding. Please go down and hit the subscribe button. There's more content coming this way. If this is something that interests you, biking on a budget, I know there's a lot of people out there that can't afford a $3,000 bike. Got a lot of bike hacks, got a bunch of how-tos, and a bunch of other cool videos coming your way. So if you would, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll have at least one video a month. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you next time. Remember, it's mandatory, so keep riding.